It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a weekly podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love televisions, movie theaters, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris.
And my name is Mike.
And this week, James Gunn announces the next Superman movie. And
in typical Threads post fashion, he loves Threads, man.
yeah, I saw it on Instagram, so I'll give him a little credit for cross sharing, I guess, using the the Meta ecosystem for that. And we've got some more images and stuff like that we'll talk about in the show, and those are in our show notes. Doomsday Drama gets debunked. I love good alliteration, Mike. It just rolls off the tongue so well. But we're going to talk about this is like when we talk about articles that do things for clickbait, right? Like we do our best to avoid any clickbait articles. We do the best to report like news and facts. This was like one of the most clickbaity articles I've seen in the past month. That was so bad that even the official sources had to come out and be like, "This is dumb. Like this isn't even real." So we'll talk about that towards the end of the show. Video game adaptations are all the rage. We've got 4-5 video game topics at the top of the show here to talk about, which happens quarterly. I'd say once a quarter we get a lot of these all at once in the same week. So. A little bit of fun and more.
We are deep cleaning the house this weekend, Chris.
That's
and
what
I
did.
made an well, I'm curious if maybe you've made this observation too. Then we have this like little electric cleaning brush that we picked up at Costco a few months back. Has like a telescoping pole you can attach to it, and it kind of like basically it spins like a brush for you, so it kind of makes scrubbing easier.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also recently purchased a new like little portable car vacuum because our toddler throws Cheerios every which way in the back of the car. And I was like, I just need like a little vacuum I can just leave in the car so I can vacuum up these Cheerios. And then I started to realize I had this brand called Fantic that makes a lot of electronics. They all seem to be making the exact same thing that does different things. It's like a round or maybe square handle that you can hold, and they just put like a electric motor inside of it. And it could either be a screwdriver, it could be like a vacuum, it could be like an electric scrubbing brush. Like, I think somewhere recently in the world, somebody has started like manufacturing like powerful but small electric motors, and then you can just plug them into like a lithium ion battery. Because like all of these devices, they all charge via USB-C. And they're all like the exact same like form factor. So I was going to ask you, do you have any of these
No, not
devices
even,
in your home or on your like Amazon wish list? Because I have like 3 of them now already.
No, not at all. I was the more you were talking about, I'm like, we don't need a scrub brush and we don't need car vacuums. And I was like, oh, we live entirely different lives. Because we don't have kids. And you know, our floor plans are different. Like we have more of like just wide open spaces rather than, yours is like multi-tiered, I guess is how it would be described.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was like, we don't need small brushes. We usually get out the big vacuum or let the robot vacuums clean the floor. And we'll, mop the floors, and we don't really have then I was like, well, but Mike's probably got spills and, children, messes children make way more than I do. Along the way, so I was like, no, I don't have any of these things at all. But
well,
I have something similar. I have something similar, like,
yeah,
because I have a Ryobi weed eater, and you can take the weed eater attachment off and put the blower attachment on, and I can take it off and put the hedge trimmer attachment on. So it's just a metal square rod that just rotates, and then it drives all the functions of that using the Ryobi battery.
And I guarantee there's little electric motors in there, and it's popping off. The crazy thing about the vacuum, which is fascinating, because we kind of have one of those like old school hand vacs that we've had in the house forever. You know, they kind of have that same like cone slash triangular shape, and it's like I think Black and Decker like makes every single one that's ever existed. It has like the little handle coming off the side. It has like this weird pedestal that you charge it on. Every time I've used that, I've noticed, it blows air out of the back of it. Because that's how a vacuum works. Like it's got to suck in one end and blow out the other end, right? And it's always really annoying. But like this vacuum, this new one that I bought, this handheld one, was just like, let's turn that blowing part into a feature. So they gave you like just like little tips that you can put on the reverse end of it, so to turn it into like a little air compressor, so you can like blow stuff like off your keyboard and stuff like that, or out of like your cup holders in your car, and then you can like vacuum it up. Well, it's genius. It's genius is all I'm trying to say. Like, so I'm super into like all of these types of devices. I have at least like 3 rechargeable like electric screwdrivers on my Amazon wish list right now. Like one like heavy duty one that could like kind of replace your power drill for most uses, and then one for like tiny screws, like when you're fixing like electronics and stuff.
I've got one of those. So it's a rectangular case, and you push it in and eject it out, and the way the screwdriver sits in the case, its USB port is facing outwards.
See, you do own one of these things, Chris. What you're describing is exactly what I'm talking about.
It's great in ideas. It hasn't served me well practically yet, but I do love. It's got magnetized tips, and nothing gets me hotter when I'm working on things at home, Mike, than having a magnetized like screwdriver bit or something, so I don't have to hold the screw with one hand and then try to start it with the other, because that can just get you annoyed real fast, especially working on electronics, like dropping screws and things like. I've got my beta player torn apart trying to replace an idler wheel on it, and I'm like, thank God for magnetic screwdrivers, because I would flip a table if I dropped a screw down this thing and never saw it again for that. But yeah, I mean that's you know, I agree with you. It's kind of like that. It's funny because I think I have everything you have like on larger scales. Like you mentioned, like we have a shop vac. I don't know if you have a shop vac or not. I don't think you do offhand. But
we do, but we inherited it somewhat recently, so
no one buys it. No one buys a shop vac. They're only given. They're only handed down. But it has that thing where ours has like thing where you can turn it on from like suck to blow, if you will. You know, kind of like what she said yet again with that. So it's fun. It's being adults. It's fall. I was telling Mike, you know, it's 70. I said 75. It's 73 here, and I was sitting outside. On our table eating lunch, and I had like my phone, I had my Steam Deck in case I wanted to play something. I didn't. I thought I would. No one plays games outside in the sun. Oh, what the hell was I thinking with this thing?
I think you're describing most way people interact with their Steam Deck. And it's just like the Steam library. They want to buy the games, they want to own the Steam Deck, but they never want to play the games or use the Steam Deck.
I like playing it, but I'm not. I mean, I guess the thing is, I like viewing it, but like it's not built for outside. Like. You know, everyone's like, I get the OLED screens on the new ones so you can see it outside. I'm not playing this stuff outside. Like, I know better. I don't want to see myself in the screen when I'm playing on this. So I had a great idea, but it was so nice to just sit out there and do that, because I have spent. I'm gonna give myself a shout here, Mike, because I've spent all week redoing our website to help solve we had to update the back end. It was crashing, so I decided to take it on myself rather than get a theme like I told Mike I was going to do. And I took our release pages to the next level, Mike. I'm very happy with our end result. That we always talk about our movie and TV release pages. It's on our website. I've updated it to include a list of posters for all the upcoming movies, and then a filter for all the past releases, because I assume no one's coming to look at our thing and look at the historical releases. We always want to know what's coming up, not what came out in the past. But they're all there. They have posters. You can do a list view if you want to quickly take a look at it. One of the cool things that we always talk about, Mike, how many ads are on our website, Mike?
Zero.
And it's very...
How many pop-ups?
Zero. So you can get in here, check it out as fast as you want. I will be adding things historically. All the past releases are mostly there. There are some without pictures, some that are off. But like, you know, again, how often do we go talk about the time X-Men, Wolverine's, whatever his solo movie was, whatever that Wolverine.
X-Men Origins.
Yeah, X-Men Origins Wolverine. How often do we go talk about that and when it released? Never. So we'll get there eventually. It's all manual, but you guys can check that out by going to our website and clicking movie and TV releases at the top there. Because I worked really hard on this. I want to give myself a shout out because it'll be fun. And it was funny because we got a new movie release in the middle of the week, so I was able to add it on here and test it out.
Perfectly. Chris, appreciate all the hard work. And it's also usually a thankless job. I think most people these days don't go to websites.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because I love websites. And also podcasts. Once you're kind of subscribed, you're kind of just like, you just check in every week and then you check out. But we like to make our website be helpful. So yeah, if there's anything you ever need, like an upcoming release, head on over to superheroslate.com.
One of the cool things I did in here, because I know how much when we talk about a movie and its release date, is how often do we forget the actors' names? I went ahead and added an IMDb button to every one of these, so we could actually. I'm making this for us. I'm not making it for you listeners. Don't get us wrong. This is a me and Mike tool that you just happen to have access to. So we get to go in here, and I'm like, Marvel Zombies is coming up, and go on here, click IMDb. It'll take us to the IMDb page. We can look at all the details of the show coming up, all the voice actors assigned to it, what's going on, and we don't have to dig and hear us typing frantically while we forget to do that during an episode. So please check it out. Make sure it's working for you guys. I made, like I said, I made it for me and Mike mostly, but you have access to it, and I think it's fun. But you don't have a lot of releases actually coming up in the next year, like 12 months. So it was fun to add a couple TV shows in here and do that along the way. Mike, you ready to talk about some news? You get into this?
Let's do it.
All right. First and foremost, Wolverine. Do you remember that time Sony announced a Wolverine game by Insomniac in like 2021?
Yeah, and then we had those like kind of lower fidelity leaks where we got to see him. I only ever remember him tracking smells because it was like the most interesting bit of the whole thing. Like, you could just like look at somebody's smell trail.
Yeah, him climbing brick walls, like by putting his claws into the walls a little bit as well. But yeah, so exactly, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There was that leak in 2023. A huge rumor is that the game is rumored to debut more officially at a Sony State of Play in October or at the Game Awards at the latest. So it sounds like the studio is gearing up to give us a more gameplay focused trailer and maybe even a release window by the end of the year. And I'm overly ready for this. Spider-Man 2 came out in 2020? Was it 2020, 2021 already? So we are overdue for a Insomniac created Marvel game. And I think we rumored like there's supposed to be like a Venom game from that team, like a spin-off game using the assets from 2. Kind of like how Miles used the assets from 1, right? And was kind of like a little boost. We might get a Venom game in the interim, but I think Wolverine will be something different, something interesting, not swinging around a city, but obviously smelling people's underwear and finding out where they're hiding in a crowd, like you mentioned from the demo. So I'm excited for this, and if we get something, we'll let you guys know, but keep your ears up and your sniffers to the ground for this Wolverine game. Moving on, James Bond is getting a game from the team that has made Hitman games for years. And I think we talked about this 2 years ago when it was announced. To me, that's like the perfect pairing, Mike. Like the Hitman games are, a little more like, hey, you have a target, you got to infiltrate, do all the stuff, stealthily. You can probably go in gun shooting, but it's not the smartest way to do it. And then even recently, this past year, they've added in the Casino Royale level to Hitman, like so you could play the poker game against the actual Mads Mikkelsen. Like he's actually a character in the game, which is really cool. And they finally we got a release date for the James Bond game 007 First Light coming out in March, and then they even gave us a 35-minute long deep dive video on the gameplay, the car driving, the action set pieces, the stealthiness. I'm not a Hitman fan. Like those stealthy games are a little long for me. Obviously we grew up playing GoldenEye, James Bond video games. This has me kind of interested. I feel like I'm in on this game, Mike, after watching the gameplay trailer, link in the show notes, and even more the longer deep dive video, which I didn't realize was 35 minutes until I was 25 minutes into it. So
I had a very similar experience with the deep dive video. I was like, oh, this will probably just be like a quick 10-minute gameplay thing. And it's only us to blame. It's not like we can't look at the scrub bar very easily. But the whole time I was watching it, I was like, oh, this just feels like Hitman. And I was like, I don't know if that's good or bad. And then when you're telling me it's from the Hitman team, I'm like, oh, this makes a ton of sense. I've never played Hitman myself, but I've seen people stream it, and I've watched some playthroughs of it. And I just find it very interesting to watch because I'm very much a stealth game person, which is kind of weird saying that. And also, I've never played a Hitman game. It just seems like the master of stealth and patience and waiting. But one thing I did notice when I was watching this playthrough, unlike Hitman, you're trying to go totally unnoticed. You're dressing up as a bellhop or a waiter, or something like that. In this one, since it's a James Bond game, it's okay if you're seen, but you're just not supposed to be seen in areas you're not supposed to be in a way. So they're kind of and you're kind of mixing that stealth and also just exploration. I noticed one thing that was kind of funny. I don't know if this is programmed into the game specifically in any way, but I noticed when James was walking through a crowd, you could look at all the female NPCs would turn their heads and just look at him, and then you could hear some chatter in the background of oh, he must be a model or something like that. And it's oh yeah, you do forget that James Bond is supposed to be this classically disarming and handsome guy, and it's funny to see that try to be translated into a game world when you have all these little interactions. But yeah, I'm trying to go in my head of well, what's the main difference? What's the breakaway difference from a James Bond Hitman game and then a normal Hitman game, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of oh, what's the point of making it besides just the character? And watching the longer gameplay, it makes me think oh, well, this can be really, really story driven.
Yes.
I've never played Hitman myself, but when I see people talk about it or replay it or do a level, it seems to be more oh, let's go back and replay this level and see if I can complete it a different way. Or let's dive into this this mission and how many missions are in this game. Whereas this kind of seems it's going to be more of a proper story, kind of origins of 007.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the thing. The thing with me, Hitman, the times I played it, it feels it's very here's a level and a puzzle, solve it, and then you extract kind of thing, right? Kill this person, get out. And Bond is well, this story has to connect to this story, connect the whole time. He's on a larger scale mission. Maybe he's not killing people. Maybe he's getting information. Obviously, Hitman probably has gadgets. I like the James Bond gadgets. I couldn't get a sense of era. This seems modern, but maybe it's not supposed to be exactly modern either. Could you get a vibe on an era here? It feels like a
Yeah.
indescript modern.
Oh, that's a good. Well, when he's at the security checkpoint, there seems to be some sort of robust technology that scans. So I think it is supposed to be.
Oh, and he
modern.
does pull a cell phone out of a trash can. In one of them. So yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, I really I think the story is there, the conversations, because Hitman, you are essentially Agent 47, a faceless, nameless person who does talk, but you don't know who he is. And in this one, James Bond is obviously shaken, not stirred, right? You know who he is, you know what he likes. People know his name. He gives you his name, right? That's I think some of the differences. He doesn't come up with fake names that I've seen in this so far. But I mean, I said, I'm not a stealth gameplay person, but I think tag the right IP onto it, and I'm on board for this game. And I don't know if I mentioned this or if you mentioned it's a prequel to him. This is him earning his 007 number, right? So I know we kind of got was it Casino Royale, a brief hint of him, he just got his License to Kill in that movie, I think. So this is a good first prequel without any of the baggage. I'd like to see a game world run parallel to the upcoming movies that they'll be working on. So absolutely think it'll be a good time, and it's coming out March of 2026. So that's a good. I'm thankful it's not falling in like that fall holiday game rush where everyone tries to put a game out for Christmas kind of thing. So looking forward to this. And you guys can check out all the videos, like I said, in our show notes. In other news, a movie that I couldn't tell you how they're going to do this. Call of Duty is getting a live action movie. It's in development at Paramount, which didn't they just merge with somebody? Skydance, right? Paramount.
Skydance bought them.
Or bought them, yeah. So they're announcing this Call of Duty movie. Probably I would say like a stock price play, if you will. Not really. Hey, we have a great idea to take everyone's favorite military shooter game and turn it into a movie. One of the things I did want to bring up, Call of Duty can mean many things. It started off as World War II games. There's a lot of World War II games. A lot of people know Modern Warfare and the newer versions with Warzone. They've also visited the Cold War era with the Black Ops stuff and some futuristic things. How is this going to be different than any modern war film, Mike? Like, if you told me that Chris Hemsworth movie Extraction was a Call of Duty movie, I'm like, hell yeah, it is. What makes Call of Duty stand out story-wise? Are you able to put your finger on it? Like, I mean,
I've played a handful of Call of Duty games. I wouldn't say like I'm a Call of Duty bro, but I always enjoy the campaigns that I played because they're fast paced. It's like you're playing a movie in a way. Financially, this makes sense, right? I think every studio is kind of seeing the green flag, the green light of go, go, go. These video game adaptations are making money. Yeah. So they don't even have to.
Mario and Minecraft did it in for us.
Yeah, and it's so weird because they're not even like being executed well in my opinion. But I guess Minecraft and Mario were really like a kids movie at the heart of what they were. So you're kind of appealing to like a more mature audience. So it would be kind of curious if you're kind of like setting up like a franchise here, which I would imagine is the goal. You kind of maybe span a couple different decades, start, back in the day, whatever war that needs to be won, to Vietnam, I don't know, do modern, and then maybe do kind of more of like a futuristic war, because they've definitely had a couple games where you're kind of have more modern technology. Yeah. And then, I don't know, just try to like pull some sort of like family lineage throughout like the three like different battles. I don't know.
Like the only thing the only character I can pull out of Call of Duty was the guy in the skull.
What's his name?
Ghost?
Ghost or
I think
something?
It's Ghost. I think it was Ghost. Yeah, right. And then there's like, they kept calling someone Soap, but I think that was a nickname.
Someone had a code name Soap. But the thing is, like, the games have kind of been remade now. Yeah. Like story wise, so it's just kind of like, wait, didn't that character die? But then he came back, then they died again. I don't know.
Yeah, anything that has like a Black Ops or a secret team that has to go in and extract somebody or get some intel or stop a warhead from going off is a Call of Duty movie. And if they're gonna do this, obviously we're not the target audience, even though I think we might fall into those circles they're trying to hit. It just needs to be something unique that isn't like, like I said, the first thing I thought of was the Extraction movies, or like, Expendables as well.
The second Extraction movie, I felt like did a great job kind of anticipating maybe what a Call of Duty movie would have to do. Because in my head, I kind of think of three components of a Call of Duty game, and they're three different like set pieces. Like, you have kind of like a normal, like, kind of like wartime set piece. You're either in like some sort of like Middle Eastern village, or if it's a historical game, you're in some sort of like German town or something like that. There's always kind of like the oddball mission where you're like storming into like somebody's like house, or you're in like a high rise or something, kind of like that odd place to send a military force that makes it like unique and weird. Like there's the very infamous scene where you're playing a bad guy in an airport with a gun. Yeah. And then
I always think of the sniper mission, like where like you're in like Russia and you're like crawling amongst all the tanks and stuff.
Yeah, that was the third set piece I was gonna. There's always some sort of like slow stealth kind of like take your time and like, take in the scene. So
the scene's kind of like I think there are great set pieces. I don't want to see an adaptation of something that exists because like you said, you play the movie essentially every time, and I think that's great. Like those are great ways to do it, but it really needs a reason to exist, and I'm struggling to find what it is kind of along the way for this one. But maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe they'll put someone else on. I think I heard before it went to Paramount, Steven Spielberg was kind of circling it with his production company as well. And I know, did he do Black Hawk Down? Am I misplacing that?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think that was him.
I was gonna say, I was like, it's got to be. That was Ridley Scott. That's what I was thinking of. I've been watching Alien Earth and talking about Ridley Scott, even though he's not in charge of that. But like, yeah. So like, there's tons of war movies. So just make it different. I think if you can figure out a way to make it stand out, that's the winner here. Now, if they did zombies like they do in all the Call of Duty, like the zombies mode, now that'd be something. A Call of Duty zombies thing. So, maybe they can have some fun with that. On the flip side, we've talked about this before in the past, and we thought it was dead, but Tomb Raider at Amazon has officially been greenlit. It's moving forward at Amazon, and it's been confirmed that Sophie Turner, you might know her from Game of Thrones, or as the Dark Phoenix herself, will play Lara Croft.
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah. I made sure to put Dark Phoenix in here because I don't want people to forget that movie existed. And then Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who was writing and directing it, so she's a creator, writer, and executive producer. She's been working on it for several years. So this is the show she was working on is moving forward. They've also announced directors and showrunners, but I didn't know who they were, so I didn't put them in here. But this is, I'm surprised they're not returning back to cinema after the last Tomb Raider movie with Alicia Vikander, but it's fine.
Oh
I guess.
yeah, they did. That was a movie. I totally wiped that off the existence of my brain.
Yeah. A lot of Tomb Raider games have come back. They've remastered, I think, the first 6. They're always popular. There's an arcade shooter game for Tomb Raider that's really popular as well. So I don't think the IP is slowing down, but I don't know if Sophie Turner has the charisma to pull off Lara Croft from the 2 things I've seen her in. Any thoughts? Anything? I mean, I know you're just thinking about triangle boobies from the 90s, Mike, when you think Tomb Raider. So I know where your head's at. Let's get out of that for a minute. What's it's not a red flag, it's not a green flag. What's the flag down the middle where you're just like, I'm ambivalent?
Beige flag, I think is what they say. This is the same issue that the Uncharted movie had, where kind of Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, and Uncharted are both just kind of riffing off of, the explorer kind of hero archetype. And the reason that games are so effective is because you finally get to become the hero. You get to control and experience it, as opposed to all the movies that the games, take influence from. So when you kind of like go back in the other direction with the IP, it's like, okay, well, you're just kind of now making a movie that the games were already inspired by. So it's a bit of an uphill battle. It makes me think of the sequel to Ghosts of Tsushima comes out next month, and I'm very excited for it. And we mentioned on the show a long time ago that was getting turned into a movie. And Ghost of Tsushima is so insanely heavily influenced by Kurosawa films. It's basically saying like, oh, we're giving a director a chance to make a Kurosawa movie with an IP from a video game.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't expect anyone born in the 2000s to know what a Kurosawa film is, though.
Well, yeah, that's true. But also, you got like, since all of these films are so influential with everything that we watch and play, you really have to find a way to like, how do we make this new and original now?
Right. No, I agree. I think it's interesting. Lara Croft has Tomb Raider itself. The games have gone through iterations. Oversaturation to a rebirth over at Square Enix, and it's still kind of going forward. So I just, again, if they're gonna do this as a series, it needs to be pretty good and not tread the same things that they did with the other ones, right? Like Angelina Jolie movie Everybody remembers those. Nobody, like you said, nobody remembers the other one, the reboot thing. But like, how do you make these stand off in a world of like, essentially these were all Indiana Jones ripoffs, right? Like, how do you make an Indiana Jones movie, a modern one, with all this stuff here? So, I'm not a red flag, not a green flag, just like you mentioned, a beige flag down the middle. Be more excited when we see it, and maybe kind of learn more about what the show's trying to do. Moving on to Street Fighter, we've talked about this being in works for a while now, and they've officially given us a cast and the release date. And we've talked about a lot of the cast, but they've kind of, they're fleshing out, they're having a little fun. I've included one image where it does the character select screen for Street Fighter, what countries they represent with all the actors. And they didn't give us the actors in their costumes or like their look. They kind of gave us their like IMDb photo for this, and this is an official image. And then someone else took those photos and actually created like a little video. The music is playing in my ear now because I'm stupid and clicked on it. But it's a fun little Street Fighter homage to the like, hey, here the character's supposed to be. Here's what they look like, kind of along the way next to them, which is fun. I thought the video is more fun than the actual reveal image, if that makes sense. Kind of along the way here. I still think, I'll go through this real fast. Noah Centineo as Ken Masters. He is also playing He-Man in that upcoming He-Man movie. So he's just a big dude. Andrew Koji as Ryu, Khalid Lang as Chun-Li, Cody Rhodes as Guile, Orville Peck as Vega, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson as Balrog, Jason Momoa as Blanca, Vijay Jamal as Dulcim, Olivia Richters as Zangief. I'm going to butcher the rest of these, Mike. David Dasmalkian as M. Bison. Roman Reigns as Akuma. I'm just going to pick. Eric Andre is in this as, is that Don Savage? I think is how you pronounce that.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, and some other people. So this is a stacked cast of people. I've heard that it is focused on a fighting tournament. So I don't expect most of these people to get more than a couple minutes of screen time. What do you think? Anything?
I mean, I was excited to see Oliver Richters as Zangief, because he was the big guy that Reacher fought in the last season of
bigger Reacher.
Yeah, and he does kind of look like this interpretation of Zangief. Almost kind of looks like if you ask ChatGPT to turn Zangief live action. Yeah, it's weird. This is very much like a strategic casting, in my opinion. It's kind of like, I feel like maybe it's a little Moneyball-esque in a way, right? It's like, I feel like most of the energy was probably put into getting Jason Momoa on the poster. And then I feel like 50 Cent is kind of like a Moneyball situation,
right?
Where he's a well-known, figure, right? But I feel like you can kind of give him at a little bit of a budget because he's not necessarily a movie star, There's
a lot of Venn diagrams going on here. Eric Andre is a very unique pull for a character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got him for like one episode of Ironheart, and then he was like gone and out of the picture. Yeah. So technically, he's in the MCU now, I guess. I'm curious to see. I mean, we all know how Street Fighter has been portrayed in live action, and it's been a mixed bag, that's for sure. Yeah. So I'm curious how this is going to play.
Yeah, I have what's it called? I have low expectations, but I'm there's something about all the people in this that I'm like, God damn, I just want to watch this. Like, I want to see how they get all these people in here and what they're doing with them. Like, a lot of the names you mentioned, bringing in two huge wrestlers, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, right? Like, as fighters in this, Guile and Akuma, who I could pick those two people out of a lineup if you gave me the Street Fighter characters. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I know these people. What's the story? How's it going to play out? I don't know, but man, this has got me interested in ways that I don't think is like, oh, this is going to be mine. This is going to change the world, but boy, do I want to see it to see how it plays out. So, we'll be keeping that. That comes out October 16th of next year. So I'm expecting a. Do you think they'll do a Super Bowl trailer for this? Like, is this a movie that gets a Super Bowl trailer?
The Super Bowl trailer will just be the cast punching a car. Who can
yeah.
punch the car the fastest?
Right. There's gonna be something about that. And seeing, Jason Momoa is a big name, but I think he's like one of those guys who called him up like, hey, I want to be Blanca, and someone's like, yep, you can do it, man. We'll paint you green. You'll get the red hair. You can act like a weird animal on set. We got you. I think
he just lost his. I feel like he just lost his agent's phone number, and he's just like, I'll just call the studio and directors. I'll text them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He must have, because how often on Apple TV is he showing up with just like some homemade underwear looking like stuff? Like he's not wearing a lot of clothes in those Apple TV shows he's been on, but we'll see. But anyway, Street Fighter, check it out in here. Now we can actually get into the superhero stuff. Dynamic Duo. Do you remember the Dynamic Duo movie that we've talked about? The half claymation puppets, whatever they're going to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they've officially announced that Scott Neustadter and Michael H. Weber are writing the script, and they are the duo who previously wrote 500 Days of Summer and The Disaster Artist. So
that's an interesting pull. It makes me think, since Gunn is a man who likes to, hire his friends in a way, I feel like maybe he must know them on some level, because what a strange pull. I wouldn't say these movies weren't successful in any way. I'm sure the screenplays are great, but interesting. Yeah. Well, that's all I'll say.
I will tell you, knowing these movies, they're definitely like, it's not melancholy, it's not the word I'd use, but like they're funny and there are happy moments, but there's also like weighty moments in both of them as well. Like, I'm not a huge fan of 500 Days of Summer. I think it just takes the wind out of your goddamn sails when you watch this thing. Even though it's got some really fun stuff early on, and then Disaster Artist obviously I enjoyed that movie probably more than, I don't know. I think a lot of people, my wife enjoyed it, and I didn't think she would. But there's some weighty stuff in there. So I think maybe the story is going to be maybe not as just not Teen Titans Go to the Movies kind of humor. I think there might be some real stuff kind of going on with it, So hopefully we get to see some of this. I'm excited to see what this looks like. I think that's got me probably more interested. I think they'll come up with a great story. I have no problems with that. I would love to see the visual style that they've locked in and are going to produce on this. So maybe next year at a Comic-Con. Bad news for people who were excited or thought that Zach Krieger's Henchmen movie was moving forward or had anything to do with the DCU. He has officially said that all reports about this film are not true. And his quote here from this past week is, "This is getting blown out of proportion online. It's not a Joker and Harley Quinn script. I've not talked to James Gunn about it. I have 2 other films in front of me. People have written a lot about it online, and not much of it is true." And I think when you sent this to me a couple of weeks ago or a month or so ago, I sent you the original article where he said he wanted to do something like this in like 2021. And somebody like dug that news up because of his success with weapons recently, right? Like, people want him to do something in the DCU.
Yeah, this is this just reminds me I need to get around to watching Weapons.
I don't think it's not on home release yet, so you're good.
Well, but luckily, I feel like the algorithm wave has finally died down to where I can kind of safely scroll through social media, and I don't have to worry about getting the movie spoiled. But if I wait too long, people will just be too emboldened to share twists and turns of the movie. His one before Weapons, Barbarian, was great, and this is just one of those like directors that's just like, oh, they're just really good at their job, so obviously anyone would want to scoop them up. The more interesting story related to him was apparently Jordan Peele's production company.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Monkey.
Yeah, go ahead. Monkey Paw.
And his managers or something like just passed on it, and he was like so furious he fired them.
Well, it wasn't that he passed on it. It's actually the representation for both him, and they also represented Krieger and gave Krieger priority on the project is what happened. So he fired the people, his representation. So I was reading about it more like when I saw this article, yeah, Jordan Peele, he's like, no, you can't. He didn't say anything, but it was a little more about like what loyalty to him kind of thing. It's like not like he was mad about it. Like he's not mad at Zach Krieger. He was mad at the people on his own team not giving him the things he wanted, I guess. So,
honestly, it just makes Jordan Peele look like a really talented creator, that he had read that script and knew it was going to be an amazing story and wanted it, and then things got in the way and he couldn't get it. So I mean, he's kind of like the he's like the de facto like kind of horror king of Hollywood right now, and it seems like he's all but anointing Zach Krieger. So I can't wait to see what maybe if those two team up together at some point.
Well, what's really interesting to me is Zach Krieger wrote Weapons, so I'm surprised he wasn't given like first option on it. I guess maybe like it's not like they were fighting over a script somebody else had. Like he wrote it and then directed it. I'm like, well, yeah, wouldn't isn't that the dream to write and direct your own movie like along the way, like if you're doing that? But Hollywood politics, Mike, we don't know anything about it. The cool thing about Zach Krieger, this can go either way. I'm going to be honest. This can go really either way. Is that he's directing Resident Evil movie next. We haven't had a good Resident Evil movie, I would say, since the original one. The TV series was very lackluster as well on Netflix. So hopefully he can bring some of that gravitas and like actual horror back to Resident Evil without making it an action movie, if that makes sense. So I believe that he wouldn't take it unless he had a good idea and was feeling good about it. So we'll see how that goes. I want to see. I know he's not probably not even started filming on it, but I would love to see when the footage does kind of come out what that looks like and how he's doing it, because like you said, he's been doing some really good stuff historically with his last two movies. Honestly, this was the biggest surprise to me, Mike, because you sent it to me while I was in the middle of the workday. I didn't even have time to check my news. I think you sent it to me first. James Gunn has announced the next Superman family movie. I use Superman family in quotes, called Man of Tomorrow, coming out July 9th, 2027. And from the artwork he did share, and that David Cornsweet shared and Nicholas Hoult shared, this will be a Superman and Lex Luthor fight a bit and team up, or team up and then fight a bit. One of the two kind of movies. It looks like they're on the same side from all this artwork that we've been given this week.
Yeah, and I had to clarify with you if these were like original drawings, or if this was like, this kind of almost looks like variant covers, like when people share like textless covers for variants that they like. I thought that's what this was at first.
And that's fair, because these were drawn by DC's comic book artists. When James Gunn shared was drawn by artist Jim Lee, who I think is also the president of DC Comics right now. David Cornsweet's, his was shared by Jorge Jimenez, and then Nicholas Holtz it's signed on there, Mitch Gerard's. So like actual comic book artists designed these, kind of their own takes on it. But it's obviously David Cornsweet's Superman teaming up, or at least with Lex Luthor in his green and purple power suit, which we did not get to see in the first one, but would be surprised. I think this is, without going into the next bit of things, I do think that this is going to be a world problem that they're going to have to set aside their differences from. Now, can James Gunn make Lex Luthor a likable person after he shot a man in front of Superman in the last movie?
That's true. He did do that.
But someone else online did bring up a good point. How fast did he turn Nebula from a dark, murderous villain into, I wouldn't say fast into a hero, but like brought her over to the other side through some redeemable arcs. Right.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, what kind of threat are they going to be facing where he's going to need to bring in Lex. It makes me think that there's got to be some sort of like some sort of technology or information, which makes me start to lean towards like Brainiac type of deal. I could see like Lex being helpful in that situation. I mean, the first thing I thought of when I saw the date was like, oh, we just talked about this on the show about how the first Iron, like all of the I think almost all the appearances of Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man were almost always like 2 years apart. We never had to go too long without seeing Robert Downey Jr. back in the suit again. So it seems like this is similar with David Cornsweet. I mean, he could, make a cameo in Supergirl. That's very much possible, but he's not supposed to. I don't think he's like billed in the movie.
Do you think he will make an appearance in Peacemaker?
I mean, maybe. We don't really have it here in the notes, but Gunn did say that Peacemaker Season 2 is very much a prequel to Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
I was hoping to get to that maybe closer towards the end of the series. Like, how do we see this as like a prequel to, at least the DCU, like proper? Because there is Supergirl next and Clayface next, like currently filming. Aaron Pierre, who will go on to play Jon Stewart in Lanterns, confirmed his involvement on James Gunn's post by saying that he was in. So it sounds like, the Justice Gang will be there. This is maybe not necessarily a Justice League or Justice Gang movie, but like I imagine the ancillary characters will also get more time to shine in this movie.
Yeah, and I think we just have to roll right into this next bullet point because I'm really curious, like whose movie is this, right? Because when you first saw the title, like you thought, well, Gunn said he hates subtitles of movies.
Yeah.
And we were almost positive that the next Superman movie would be Superman 2. Apparently, he confirmed or had to go and confirm because I guess he thought everyone was going to know exactly what he meant when he announced this. He was like, oh, no, this isn't the next Superman movie. This is something different. We're like, wait, what are you talking about? What movie is this?
Yeah, so he did say that it's not called Superman Man of Tomorrow. It is just Man of Tomorrow, which it gives ambiguity to Superman or Lex Luthor being considered the Man of Tomorrow, right? Like, one of the things, I just downloaded all of the Super Friends shows from the 70s this weekend, Mike. You remember, like, the with the Masters of Evil or whatever they were called? In their little Darth Vader fortress, and Lex Luthor was in like all these doing this stuff. But like later in the comics, remember how Lex Luthor becomes like the president of like the United States? Like he does it. Like, do you think that he might use this opportunity, whatever the threat is, to push himself as like, I am tomorrow. I will be leading the country to keep you safe or whatever. And like maybe this is a launch pad into the third movie where Lex is in charge of more than just a building in Metropolis, if you will.
I mean, it could be. I mean, my biggest kind of pet peeve of the Superman movie was how kind of like these global geopolitical machinations were kind of just not really treated with a lot of respect's not the right word, but it's like kind of just like glossed over of just kind of like the world of 2025, we're in a such different place that you can't really make the same type of movie that you could have made in the 90s where like, oh, heroes always so easily prevail. And then, of course, the, Fox News is going to go on TV and apologize. Like, that's just not the world we live in anymore.
Right.
So I would like him to stay away from politics because I just don't want to be seen it like treated like that.
Yeah, I think by
movies.
2029, though, it could be if that's when they get to the third one.
Maybe. I think the marketing department is going to do everything in their power to get him to change the title of this. Like a colon, something, anything. They're going to be like, we need to use the word Superman in this title to sell this movie. Or let us at least use like Lex Luthor Origins. I know that's a dumb title, but any marketing department is going to be begging, please let us put something well known. Nobody knows what Man of Tomorrow is. We get it that you and your nerds on Threads know exactly what it is, but you gotta let us put a title. We need a name. Like, come on, Gunn. We know you're in charge, but we're really struggling here. So I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of gets maybe some sense talked into him by the time the movie comes out, and we do get some sort of like subtitle or name put in there.
And he is known to walk back titles. So it was Superman, Legacy when this was first announced. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which is ironic that Woman of Tomorrow was the subtitle. Now it's just Supergirl. And now he's gone back to Man of Tomorrow. So I'm like, well, come on, yeah, I agree with you. Like, you know, if I told my mom, "Hey, you want to go see Man of Tomorrow, the movie?" She's gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, you know, this is past the Mike Mom test. It does not. This does not pass the Mike Mom test. Just at title alone.
The more we talk about this, it does kind of seem like this is a Lex Luthor movie, right? If we're doing Superman movie, Supergirl movie, the next year Lex Luthor movie, it's kind of starting to make sense in my head a little bit of like he's giving all of his main characters their like outing until, you know, they all come together in something.
Yeah, like I think it's supposed to be ambiguous. Like, who is the Man of Tomorrow? Is it Superman? Is it Lex? But like, you're gonna need that draw, like that big draw. Like, if you said, "Hey, let's go see Dynamic Duo," you don't know that's a movie about two Robins, right? You know, there's a thread, a line in here that you like. I don't think the average audience is dumb, but will they know everything? Not at all, not by a long shot. Here. But yeah, anyway, July 9th, 2027, you can go to superheroslate.com, click movie and TV releases on the top, and check out when that's going to fall, because that is actually July, August, September, 3 months before the Batman Part 2, Mike. So we do get at least David Zaslav gets 2 of his 3 characters in Man of Tomorrow and the Batman Part 2. Do you think the villain of Man of Tomorrow is Wonder Woman? Do you think it'll be the Amazonians?
That would be a fun turn. I mean, we were looking at that kind of alternate DC Universe's Wonder Woman on the show last week, and she looked like super badass. Like, yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, because we know. I mean, I believe it's Superman's 2 weaknesses are kryptonite and magic, right? Is that my understanding? Like he's weak to magic. Absolute Wonder Woman, I believe, leans into the magic aspect quite a bit, the mystical side of it, because she's like imbued with like those tattoos and like other things. And what if Lex has to suit up to stop an invasion of Amazonians, rather than a technological threat? It's the opposite. It's a non-technological threat, but he has to suit up to meet the level of these mystical people coming off a secret island. I don't know. That's probably not a good idea, but it's an idea if David Zaslav wants to get all 3 of his characters in a movie in 1 year, isn't it? So, we'll see. But yeah, check that out, and we'll keep you guys posted as we hear more. I think they're location scouting and going to be doing something else sooner than later, so we'll probably get production updates later this year. Fantastic Four First Steps. This movie actually had a 125% increase in ticket sales on Labor Day, Monday, over the previous week, which was this past Monday, which I thought was a really fun fact that people are using their time off to go see it. But we got a photo of Ralph Ineson on set before he's like composited into the film as Galactus. I didn't think they painted his face gray. I thought it was just digital effects, but they actually painted him up to be that very earthy space tone face before they composite him in there.
Looks great.
I like this suit. Like this is like cosplay level suit, if you will. Like, I could imagine someone walking around San Diego Comic-Con with this on. So very, very thrilled they were able to put that in there. So you can check out that in our show notes. Very, very quick bullet point. Moving on. Marvel Zombies, the upcoming spinoff from the What If series, got I think it's his first trailer. I'm gonna say just new trailer. Features Blade Knight, Shang-Chi, Yelena, Spider-Man, and more. This was a fun little trailer. I didn't expect this to be as is energetic the right word? It's action-packed. It's an action-packed trailer.
Yeah, it's got energy to it. It doesn't seem like they're going down like this dour and like scary, spooky kind of promotion, which maybe the What If episode kind of lean into.
Yeah.
This is like we are going like full tilt into like helicopters with miniguns,
slicing up superheroes, slicing up humans.
Yes. Spider-Man pulling heads off.
That was the coolest shot. Spider-Man ripping all those zombies' heads off with his webs was my favorite shot of this trailer, Mike. Like hands down.
Yeah, it's really sick. I mean, if this ends up being kind of like the send off to like the What If universe in a way, or even like the art style that they came up with. I think that's a fun way to go. I really appreciated that they pulled the Marvel Zombies logo basically right off the front of the comic book page.
Yeah.
And it just it just looks crazy. It's weird that it's all dropping all 4 episodes at the end of September. Like it seems like, you know, October is kind of where you want to like synergize this type of content. But it looks fun. It is crazy to me every time I see Blade, right? They really thought this movie was going to be out already. They thought that this character was going to be in the hearts and homes of everyone, so they would run to the animated and see his incarnation. It's so funny to me.
Even if he's not in theaters, I think he's still the coolest character in this. Like the way he's like, they show a whole fight scene of him against the Ghost, the character Ghost, who like phases around him. And he's still like beating her because he's got, obviously it's Blade and Moon Knight, like he's empowered by Khonshu, so he's got like extra abilities, and he's just like still beating her. And I thought that was a really fun, like the action beats in this are awesome, like in a really cool way. And one of the things they early on they show you this is TVMA, which I didn't know this. I saw this on a comment. They actually use red blood in this. And in the original episode, it's all blue. Like all the gore is blue because that was TV 13 or whatever it was.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
So like because of the MA, like I think someone says shit at some point in this trailer as well. Like they can actually take it to, I wouldn't say a different level. It's not rated R. This isn't like, you know, a zombie movie, but like they can do a little bit more with it. And honestly, 4 episodes, I'm really surprised they didn't try to turn this into like a small movie. Like, I think we've talked about that previously where they're like, well, is it a movie or is it episodes? If you're going to do 4 episodes and really small ones, it should have been a movie right at the end of the day. So, we get what we get. Can't complain.
Yeah, it's the same release strategy as Eyes of Wakanda, of like drop all 4 episodes. I weirdly liked it better when it was Killer of Killers because that was also a 4-part thing, but they put it all into like one video file. Like, I don't know, like there's definitely something psychological going on there because it's not like the runtime is not changing. I'm still viewing the same number of minutes, but it's almost easier to digest if I don't have to watch little mini credits in between every episode and then hit the skip intro button and then go into the next one. Yeah. So it just almost feels like
it's easier to follow.
I'm here to I'm here to ingest one complete narrative, and then I can and then it gives me also the freedom to pause it whenever I want to pause it and come back to it, right? Because like if I'm watching like one single episode, it's like, oh, there's like 5 minutes left, I'll just finish it, and then or you don't, and you just, like you said, like fall off. There's something psychological in me where I just want it to be one thing.
I think these are like the 20-minute episodes. I don't think they're the long ones either at the end of the day. But obviously these are all pre-Iger return things. So I saw someone bitching online. They're like, oh, Marvel said they're only going to release 2 TV things a year. Why did they release 6 this year? Well, these are all things that are like on the back burner that need to get out. So we can't wait, 6 years to do these. So I think this and then Wonder Man are the last 2 things for the year. Wonder Man being the live action. And I think we're caught up. I think we're all only in new stuff with Daredevil Born Again season 2. So we'll keep you posted. I'm excited about that. This was a fun little thing. Dropping at the end of the month. It'll be a good kickoff into October for me. Real fast in the Spider-Man brand new day world, a rumor from a quote unquote scooper says that the Punisher has a female partner to help him track and kill criminals. I didn't know he was killing people in this, so this is gonna be interesting to see in brand new day. But the actress Sadie Sink looks similar to a character, Rachel Colalves from the comics, who teamed up with the Punisher to take revenge on criminals who destroyed her life. So essentially, it was like her wedding day. Her wedding party husband at the moment was caught up in like crossfire. She was the only person left, kind of like the Frank's origin story. Teams up with them to help take him down. So it sounds like maybe she's not playing the Phoenix. She's not playing an alternate Mary Jane, but she's playing someone who is helping the Punisher, but people don't know it probably at the start. Probably friends with Spider-Man. They find out she's on his side, and then they have to work it out, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if this rumor is true, it could be like a narrative tool in a way of we've seen the Frank Castle character in this like universe uh
Hmm.
through Netflix all the way now. He's like kind of like gone through the redemption arc. It feels like 5 times now. He's like
Yeah.
risen and fall, become a hero, back to anti-hero. He just like bounces up and down. So it feels like we've
He's a
kind
little
of
unstable. I'll give
almost
him that.
yeah, like but like we've kind of almost like solved him in a way. So maybe the plan is you bring in somebody that has that kind of like fresh, kind of injury
Yeah.
of revenge, and then like Frank is kind of more of like a mentor of like, hey, I'm gonna tell you don't make the same mistakes I did, but also I think I'm the type of
Yeah.
person that prescribes revenge, so you do need a little revenge, so
Yeah.
come along with me, but then
Don't get your
maybe
hands
helps her
dirty.
navigate.
I'll do it. Like maybe he's the one. He's like,
Yeah.
I've already got it. I've already got this on my hands. You don't need to do it on your end. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, what does Black Widow say? I already got red in my ledger.
Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of gives at least Frank a little bit more to navigate in the movie. That would be my
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, I mean, either way, if this is true, it's interesting to give him someone to maybe guide him as a weapon. Like Frank is a weapon, right? Like that's what we've seen. He just needs pointed in the right direction to take care of stuff. So we'll see how he appears in Punisher season 2. We'll see how he appears in his spinoff, Mike. That's also, don't forget, they're filming that. What road is that going to send him on again? And then into Spider-Man Brand New Day. So we're gonna get a lot of John Bernthal next year. I feel like a lot in the Marvel world. So buckle up, buckaroos, and we'll take care of it. Lastly, I was talking about this at the start of the show, and I don't know if you'd heard this or not, but like some quote unquote scoopers, not like the main ones, were like, there's a lot of ego on set on Doomsday. This was like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and 2 actors got into it, and the studio was like, well, we can work it out to where you're not on set every day at the same time, and everyone was like, oh my god, it's Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr. And I like literally most of the internet who was like on these articles were like, Ryan Reynolds, number one, is filming something else. He's not even been announced for this movie, so he's not over there working on it. But like all these articles just kept rolling with it. Like they kept putting out like new details on this, and it was just I don't know, snowballing into nothing, like a nothing snowball, if you will. And Ryan Reynolds has like had to go out and say, I have not been on this set. I'm not even announced for this movie. I put up the Anarchy thing. That was it. I've not even been there to film this movie. My guess, and that's my personal guess, is they're going to be filming this and like doing extra stuff next year, using that extra time to do reshoots and edits and all that fun stuff. But like, boy, this is like a weird thing to like for people to like try to pick up on. Like, is this like, I wouldn't say a smear campaign. Like, it sounds like someone's just trying to stir up some drama for the Avengers movies. Like, is this a Zack Snyder cult? Are these the Snyder people?
Well, it's funny because I heard different. I mean, obviously it's all rumors, right? But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
heard it was two. I heard two different people. I heard it was Pedro Pascal and Letitia Wright. It's kind of just open to the interpretation of the internet hive mind, right? It's like, okay, imagine everyone that's been announced for this movie, and who can I kind of ship in a way against each other? Like, who would not get along on set together? And I think it's just this is kind of what happens in a vacuum of news in a way. I feel like it's been a long time since we've had like a drone shot, of some sort of exterior thing. So I honestly think this could just be made up whole cloth, like, oh, let's just drum up some fake reports.
It's like if you go to like back to our Street Fighter thing and you have the list of the Doomsday characters, like, all right, pick 2 of them and let them fight in the news this week because we have nothing else going on, right? Like, why are they doing
Well,
that?
also too, it doesn't help that we get like kind of more legitimate news headlines of like, oh, the Russo brothers finally finished like the 3rd act of the movie, and then they just moved everything to like London too from Georgia. So it just doesn't seem like the movie and the Marvel universe right now is just on stable ground to begin with. So it's kind of just, it's really easy to pick apart. And there's just people out there kind of ready to jump on it,
Well, it's clickbait.
I would say
it's clickbait too. Like, you just make it up and like, oh, well, if I'm getting clicks, I'm getting my ad money. Who cares if it's real? It's like we can even say this is a rumor, and that protects us from everything else along the way. I just hate this. Like, this stuff is just weird. Like, I wish there was like something to back it up. Like, they're not going to be they're going to be filming this on and off, like different actors on and off. I think they're filming continuously for a while, but like with every actor, all the schedule, like I think it was like, was Alan Cumming said at one point, he said he was fighting Pedro Pascal on set, got his hand smacked, and then he was like, a couple weeks ago, he's like, oh, I had never acted against anybody. What are you talking about? Like, we're just a big empty blue space. I'm like, yeah, you kind of got your hand smacked, didn't you, for saying you were actually with Pedro Pascal? So they're probably gonna tell you to make things up, or like you never actually saw anybody else along the way. And I think we're gonna get a lot of that. Do you think they're doing variations on the script to hand out to find people who might be leaking it as well, like we saw for the first Avengers movies?
Oh man, I don't know. That could be a possibility.
Because they filmed those scenes with like Doctor Strange and Ant-Man, and that never made it to the movie. They just filmed them to throw people off as well, even though they're not doing any of this outside right now. So, but yeah, they really shut a lot of that down. But yeah, I don't know. It was just interesting to see that Ryan Reynolds actually had to come out and be like, no, I've not been on Doomsday set. No, I'm not feuding with anybody. I don't even think he's been in a movie with Robert Downey Jr. I think he said he's only met him once before. So I was like, golly, this is when the rumors hit the fan for movies. But no, well, what can we do, Mike? We're just here to bring people the news every week. Nothing else. That's what we got for the show, though. You got anything else before we wrap it up?
No, I think we've successfully sealed our deal with the devil. You know, we're going like 539 episodes strong, and we still haven't broken the curse yet. So we'll be back next week.
Wait. I mean, like I said, as long as I keep updating this upcoming releases page, we're still renewed, right? Until these movies run out, then we'll cancel it.
This is true.
But yeah, people want to know what you're up to, what you're doing. Where can they find you at, man?
Oh, they can find my webcomics at pickledcomics.com and liferewardsrisk.com. Chris, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
And find me on Instagram, Valdan87, VALDAN, or video games of the same name. If people want to know more about the show, where they can get that page I keep talking about, keep looking at, because I'm so happy I got it done, or any of our previous episodes, which I also updated that page. If you click episodes, it's a lighter weight page. It'll load faster. You can listen to the last 50 episodes. Where can they get all them goodies at?
Yeah, if you want to find Chris's hard work, it's on superheroslate.com. That's a website, folks. You can go to it, put it in your little browser bar, superheroslate.com. We're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you're listening to podcasts. If you want merch, we got it. superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. Let us know what you're watching, what you're streaming, what you're playing. And if you want to be a super fan, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week, folks.
That's right. We'll see you guys next week.